Hello guys, it is Gated Theories here, and the other day I was watching Toy Story again, and I'm afraid I made some troubling discoveries, and that is, Andy is a clone. So, as I was saying before, the other day I was watching Toy Story again, and it was very early on in the movie that I noticed something really strange and kind of creepy in the movie. And it is taken from the scene when the guards are looking at Andy's friends as they're about to go and use a walkie-talkie so they can tell Woody and the other toys about what on earth the presents are. Because, of course, the toys are worried, what if there's another toy? And, of course, that's the whole plot of the movie, that Buzz is the new toy. And in this scene, you'll notice something strange. Watch this.
It's almost time for the presents.
So, did you see it? Well, probably not. So, here's an image from that scene, and if you look very carefully at it, you'll see some things that are kind of worrying. So, this is an image of Andy, his mum, and his party friends, and you can see that Andy is right at the front, and then next to Andy is his mum, who's leaning against the door, and then you have his four friends. Now, look very closely at all four friends. Let's start with the one in the middle with the yellow top and the blue trousers. So, this guy, he just seems like a normal guy, except from, if you look very closely at his face, it kind of looks like Andy's. Next to that kid is the guy, of course, in the red shorts and the white and blue and red top with the red cap on. And if you look closely at his face, it kind of looks like Andy's as well. And finally, to the right of him, in front of Andy's mum, you get a kid wearing a yellow cap, a blue t-shirt, and some blue trousers. And again, his face looks exactly like Andy's. The only person who we don't really get to see much of an image of is the dark-skinned guy by these stairs. But there is a scene before this scene where we do get to see these guys bringing the presents to Andy's house, and we do get to see sort of what this guy looks like. And he does begin to start to look like Andy, except with darker skin. So, back to what I said before, all of Andy's friends are literally clones of Andy. Now, this isn't the first time that I've actually heard of this. A couple of years ago, I did see something like this on the internet, except from I tried finding it in the movie and I couldn't see it. And then, of course, the other day I was watching it and I saw the scene with all of these Andy lookalikes. Now, of course, the real reason why on earth all of these humans look like Andy is because of the animation. Back when Toy Story was invented, it was the first feature-length film to be invented with computer technology. Back then, only very short films had been invented, and it was a really new thing. And animating humans was the hardest thing to do, which is one of the reasons why they started animating toys, and it is one of the reasons why on earth Andy's father is never seen in it. But of course, if you love fan theories like me, then go check out Super Carl and Brothers video, as they have made a whole video on why on earth Andy's dad isn't in the movie actually. But anyway, the reason why on earth all of these people are the same is of course because of the animation, and that humans were the hardest people to animate. So they tried to make them look all sorts similar. Like, even Sid and Andy start to look a bit similar if you take away Sid's really weird teeth. But animation of humans did end up improving, and by 1999, when they are introducing Toy Story 2 to the world, Andy looks a lot less like his friends. But instead of going along with what the actual reason behind this is we're going to make a theory about why on earth Andy's friends all look so alike, and luckily Pixar's latest movie, Incredibles 2, might have given us the answer. Now, one of the major plots in Incredibles 2 is all about how the Parr family find out that Jack has powers, and he has so many powers, and I love all of them. Do you know how many powers he has? He manages to have 17 powers. Now, of course, this is because he's a baby, and Super Carl and Brothers have made a video on what his powers might be like when he grows up, like what they'll reduce down to. But one of his powers is kind of like the situation that we've got with Andy here, and that is his power of multiplication. Now, he does this quite a few times in the movie. I counted around 3 times, but the main one is when we first get introduced to his powers. Well, Bob gets introduced to his powers, because of course we were introduced to them in the first movie, and he uses them when he's fighting against the raccoon. Now, this was by far one of my most favourite scenes of the movie, because we got to see Jack use so many powers that we haven't seen already, and it was so fun him using those powers against the raccoon. Now, he uses the multiplication power when Bob first comes up to him, and I'm pretty sure it's Bob's first ever power that he sees. What Bob does is he picks up Jack, and Jack can't escape from Bob. So what he does is he uses his multiplication power to multiplicate basically into several versions of himself, or in other words, cloning himself. And what he does is he uses so many of himself to escape from Bob, and then really creepily uses an army of himself against the raccoon. Now, this is kind of like Andy's friends. Now, what I'm saying here is that Andy might be a super. Yes, I know it's highly unlikely, except from we know that a superpower that a super could have is multiplication, so maybe Andy's friends are all just a multiplication of Andy. I mean, it's not impossible. According to the Pixar theory, Toy Story comes right after Incredibles 2, meaning, yes, the supers have sort of died out by then, but there will be some supers still around. And if you do want to go and see our version of the Pixar theory in under 5 minutes, so really quickly, then you can go and click the card up there. Now, of course, like I said before, it is highly unlikely that Andy could be a super. He doesn't really show any superpowers in either 3 movies, but who knows, maybe in Toy Story 4, if he returns, he might be secretly a super. Tell us in the field section down below if you think Andy is a super, or if you think there's just a load of clone Andy's around, or if you just think this is a load of rubbish and it is literally just because of the animation. Tell us all that in the field section down below. And guys, that is the end of the video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, then please like it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, we've been here on Gative Theory. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.